In a previous video, linked in the description, we discussed a poisonous strategy to divide, distract, and conquer the American people. Last week, it reached a terrifying, absurd new peak. Trump officially designated Antifa, an ideology whose name literally means anti-fascism, as a domestic terror organization. Antifa is not a CEO, not a board of directors, not a group or a membership list. It is the idea of opposing fascism that once united the entire world to fight Hitler. Saturday, in the most dramatic escalation yet, he directed his Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to deploy U.S. military troops to Portland, Oregon, specifically to protect ICE facilities from what he called Antifa and other domestic terrorists, even authorizing full force if necessary. Let that sink in. The man who calls his opponents weak ones is now simultaneously labeled them terrorists and sending our military to quell protests against his administration. Americans should all be anti-fascist, but he thinks if he blurs that line that his followers won't realize what Antifa means. The experts are clear. No legal mechanism exists for the United States government to designate a domestic ideology as a terrorist organization. It's a political weapon disguised as a national security measure, so don't drink that poison. Remember the magician's trick? The right hand makes the big loud show, so you don't look at the left hand. For years, Trump and his allies have peddled the myth of the radical left. The media gives it airtime, but the actual reality is chillingly clear, according to the data from the FBI and the counterterrorism experts. Right-wing and anti-government extremists have been responsible for the vast majority of deadly domestic terrorist attacks in the United States in the last decade, and they remain the most lethal domestic terror threat. Meanwhile, anyone who protests against them is now a terrorist in an attempt to justify an unprecedented, unconstitutional United States military deployment in an American city against the wishes of its local leaders. Do you see the play? He is not fighting a terror threat. He is criminalizing his political opposition because moral unity is the biggest threat to his divisive strategy. This is the theatrical declaration. It's the loudest distraction yet. Look at his left hand, the one that's reaching deep in your pocket. He's not fixing health care. He's not ensuring all children have food. He's not lowering the price at the grocery stores. He's not releasing the Epstein files. His allegiance is not to the American people. We said the antidotes to the poison is to stand together, not tear each other down. Now, the antidote is being targeted and called a crime. This is the moment to refuse to play his game. When he calls you weak and then turns around and calls you terrorists in his next breath, you know you've hit the nerve. He's scared of our unity. Let me know below. Would you rather unite for the anti-fascist or support fascist? The real fight is to stand together for our freedom and a democracy that works for all of us. If you refuse to let your anger be funneled into hating your neighbor while the rich get richer, then you are an antidote for the poison and part of the solution. Refuse to be a pawn and hit that subscribe button. Join the community that is dedicated to cutting through the venom and focusing on the things that actually matter to your life.